What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you leave a comment. I got my good friend John coming on tonight, limousine driver. I told you guys we're going to bring the guy on that was driving Lil Meech around before, and I think he drove Gunna around, and some other people, man, some rappers down there in Atlanta. But John's got a compelling story, man. He's got a hell of a message. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about, some of the people and, what they're really like. But, John, tell the people who you are, man, and talk a little bit about you, brother.
Hey, Chad, first of all, thanks for having me on, man. I wanted to say thank you because I think that your message you're putting out there is A1. The prison system in the United States is definitely not what it should be or what it could be probably. But that's above my pay grade. We met because I was watching your platform, and it struck me in a way that I found that helps me every single day. For most of the people that come on here, I'm pretty sure that we all have the same feeling in that once we're a criminal, that's always going to be in us. If we get a second chance to come home from prison, and I did a short bit, I did 4 years in prison, but that was added on to 5 or 6 years in and out of county before they finally sat me down. But if you can rise from that and become better and learn from it, that's great. But it's hard to do. When I came home from prison and paroled, I was spinning wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. Now I deal with people that you get to see in entertainment, in the sports world, in the business world, that make this world go round every single day. But it took lots and lots of hard work.
No doubt. And that's what's up, man. And I think you got a hell of a message, and we're going to get into that. You did go to prison before, right?
I did. I spent 4 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections.
So you were in the Michigan Department of Corrections. What did you go to jail for? Do you want to talk about that? You don't have to if you don't want to, but.
No, I can. I was a booster. I was a thief. I robbed to get money. Wasn't addicted to drugs. Never really was. I dabbled in drugs. I didn't grow up in a world of gangs and inner city life. I was adopted at the age of 2, and I was given the world. I tell people now that I hit the lottery when I was 2, and that's truly what it was. My parents are my heroes. I don't think there's any stronger love in the world than there is in adoption. But I screwed that up. I screwed it up all the way to the point where my parents one day pulled me aside when I was doing everything that I was doing, and they said, "John, we love you, but we can't be a part of your life anymore." And I was young. And I said, "All right, that's cool, man. I'm young enough. I can handle this. I got this." And then a year and a half later, my grandfather was sick with cancer. And I asked my dad, I called him, I said, "Dad, can I come see him?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because of what we talked about before." And that's when my whole life changed. I said, "Dad, let's make a deal." Because the cops were looking for me. I'd busted probation, which was going to send me to prison, and it did. My dad said, "Hey, let's do this deal. If you want to come see Grandpa before he passes away and helps me, you can. But the minute we're done with this, meaning the minute after the funeral's over, you're going to turn yourself in." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do that." And at that point, when I told my dad that, I was probably 70-30 on doing that. And I'd done a lot of grimy things before that. I was at the bottom of the barrel, Chad. When I did decide to come help my dad with my grandfather, I can remember still to this day very clear the night before I was supposed to turn myself in. We got home on a Friday, and we called the detective that had been looking for me. And he said, "Why don't you turn yourself in on Monday?" So I got to spend the weekend with my mom and dad before I turned myself in. I knew I was going away. And I can remember sitting there probably about 4 o'clock in the morning thinking about dipping out that window and not honoring my word to my parents, the people who love me, who have given me everything that I have in this life, and letting them down one more time. But something held me back. And what it was probably I didn't ever want to make them feel the way that I had made them feel ever again. Because they did give me life. They gave me a second chance at life. I was born in Colombia, South America. Had I not been adopted, there's a good chance I'd be dead, running drugs, working for maybe a federal agency or a Sicario. There wasn't much choice back in the middle 70s when I was born. I'm 48 years old. When I was born, there wasn't much choice for kids growing up at that time in Colombia, South America. So now I'm a limousine driver. I'm in Atlanta. It took, let's see, we're in 2022 now. It's taken 10 years of not screwing up to be where I'm at now. I live in my own 3-bedroom apartment on the Chattahoochee River, 10 minutes from downtown Atlanta. I couldn't live in a better place. 5 miles away, the governor lives by me. Houses that are 16,000, 17,000 square foot homes. To go from spinning wings at Buffalo Wild Wings to driving these people around that I'm talking about, I never would have imagined it 10 years ago. My parents never would have imagined it 10 years ago. The friends that I have, who I lost, who I now have again, they never would have imagined it. But that's not what drives me. The thing that drives me is to be the best at what you are, but always remember what you were so you never return to that. That's what drives me. There's chances where I can go do dirt, right? Like we can all go do dirt. We're criminals. That's what we did. That's what we did for a long part of our lives. That's why we went to prison. But you have to choose every single day. And you and I have shared some personal moments, not on interview, that I've shared with you, where I struggle week to week sometimes, check to check sometimes. But you have to have that discipline to not go back. I see people who are the richest of the rich throw it all away. And what brought you and I together tonight, Chad, is those stories about Young Thug and Gunna and Lil Meech. Because those guys, with the exception of Young Thug, have been in my car.
Let me say this, right? Like Lil Meech gets arrested. Really, man, they put it out there because it's him and he's facing 60 years. It's really a bullshit case, right?
Okay. Good.
You know, all in all, he gets arrested and things could get, he could possibly go to prison and all that, but they put that stuff out in the media. But what is he like, man? What type of dude is he? Is he a cool dude?
Super cool
Joker?
Dude. Joker, super friendly, cool, about business. That's the thing with all these people that I see in and out the day. They're all about business. Give me 1 second, Chad. That's the one thing that sets those people apart from us. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're all about business. But it's easy for it to slip through your hands, man. It's easy to slip up. I was with a gal who's got a hit out right now just 4 or 5 nights ago. I can't mention her name because of an NDA, but she signed a $2 million agreement with an Atlanta rapper, and she had no idea how much more she could have gotten because she had no guidance. Just wasn't any guidance, man.
People share those stories with you like that?
I was in the car when her manager pulled her out of the car to go sign that $2 million deal. He's like, we're going to go sign our deal. And then they sat a big bag of cash in her lap. But she's so young and naive that she doesn't understand how they're going to make $2 million off that artist in the first week. It's a grimy business, man. I see a lot of grime, but I see a lot of beautiful things too, man, in my job. The one thing that messes with me in my job, and it relates to the prison system, it's the elite and the uber rich that maybe don't understand. Guys like you and I have been to prison, but that separation is so thick, they don't want anything to do with us. It took a lot of work for me to get to where I'm at. I've never lied when I signed a resume or anything like that, or an application. And I always get asked what happened. And I always have to tell them. But because of the hard work that I did over the past 10 years, they'll check references and they'll say, hey, this guy has really put his time in to get to where he's at.
You also said, who'd you else you have in your car? You said Gunna?
I did.
What's he like, man?
He was real quiet. Real quiet, but flamboyant. He had a Bentley, a Lambo, a Rolls, and an Escalade sitting in the drive of a brand new house. And that's why I'm thinking to myself, man, how on earth are these guys getting in these positions with that? They're given the world where you and I, at one point in our lives, dreamt about stuff like that. We did dirt to get to succeed and be that way, rich and having everything and not having to worry. What I don't get, man, is how you throw it away.
Sometimes these dudes can't get out of the street. Like When you're driving with these dudes, does he bring his entourage with him? Does he got his homies with him? I mean, what's it like?
No, usually it's family members. Family members come with clients like that because they live here. They're not out entertaining. Now, when there's a show at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, then yeah, you see all those entourages and stuff like that. Those are pretty neat nights to see. Actually, I went and saw, or I didn't see, but I was involved with the I think his name's Joe Gotti. Is that a name of an Atlanta rapper, maybe?
Yeah.
But that's where this other artist was invited to, and they all made a deal, and so on and so forth.
Them dudes ever have you drive them around in their own vehicles?
So I did have one experience, Future, and I think I shared this with you, not on an interview, but Future, who's a very successful person. He's, I guess, what I would say the exact opposite in the spectrum of what Gunna's going through right now. Very successful. And I had him, and when I have these types of people, I hand them a business card at the end of the ride. And I say, hey, if you ever need a personal chauffeur to help you out, just give me a call. And 99 times out of 100, never happens. But one time it did, and it was 2 weeks ago. Future, his representative, called me, asked me if I could use his Rolls Royce to take his son to prom. And he paid me really generously for it. So that does happen, man. It does happen. And sometimes these clients need people to fly to maybe New York or Chicago or LA and say, hi, I need you for 3 days. That's happened to me on a couple different occasions where I will fly out and go do these jobs. Sometimes they need a car driven across the country. I'll go do that. It's a good job. And a lot of people think it's hard to be a limo driver. And it's not. You just got to go and apply, man. That's it.
Let's talk a little bit more about Lil Meech, man. Did he ever talk to you? Like, hey, are they on like a...
We were clowning the 2 days that I was with him. We were clowning. It was driving to and from locations. They were here for a premiere for BMF on Stars. And we went to a couple different studios. He was hanging with a couple different cast members, so on and so forth. But the whole time clowning, having fun. Good kid, but serious. And what I got from him was he wasn't trying to do anything dirty, man. Like, he was serious about his show that's on, representing his father, as you would be, or as I would be, I'm guessing.
It's pretty much straight business, but having a good time. Just a regular dude with a couple dollars, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. And hopefully down the road, he makes the right choices. And I'm sure he will, because he's a smart individual.
So when you see these guys get arrested that you're chauffeuring around, right? And you see this on the news, are you like, what the... I mean, what do you think when you see this?
I guess I'm usually like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, and it frustrates me because I'd give anything to do that. The rich people that I know, a lot of them put themselves, or they put teams around them to make more money and do good things and give and make things happen in a good way. And then when I just hear that, I'm like, you kind of get the feeling from some of these guys that they're bound to be that way. I mean, it's just a game. You know it. You met a million people that are like that, right? You met drug kingpins that were like that. You met mafioso that had everything. But it's just, that's what I mean when I say it's always in me, Chad. It's never gone. It's always there. But you just got to learn to tame it.
Who do you think was one of the coolest people that you had to chauffeur around? If you can say names.
Let's see. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel were pretty cool. We do a lot of people from TNT that are celebrities on their shows, so on and so forth. Because of NDAs, I can't really name people, but I can say, hey, I like watching NHL on TNT. I love watching NBA on TNT. And I get to see those guys every once in a while. So we can say that.
So I'm sure people probably think, like, man, with all these famous people, man, these rappers, they're jumping in the whip. Are they hitting you with big tips, man? Thousands hitting you with a stack here and a band here. What do they do stuff like that?
I would say a band would happen every 6 months. Might get a band from somebody. The regular tip would be 20 to 50 to $100. And then you get really rich people that don't leave a tip at all. Gunna didn't leave me a tip.
He didn't leave you a tip?
Lil Meech didn't leave me a tip. The girl who signed for $2 million the other night and had a bag with $250K in it didn't give me a tip. One of the leading electronic rock artists or electronic music artists in the world had a show here that I was with him for 13 hours one night. He walked out with a bigger bag and he didn't tip. These guys are crazy, Chad. Don't even get me started, bro.
Man, you got to be kidding me, man. I've always been a good tipper, bro. When I was getting money, and even now, my wife says you're giving them too much when we go out to eat and stuff like that. And I'm like, I just spent 20 years in prison. I mean, you leave a person a $25, $30 tip. I don't think that's really much. I'm trying to look out.
And it's the kind thing to do. If I had it, I'd help people out in that manner. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to help. You do it all the time on your show. You always help people.
I try to. When I can, I do what I can. But wow, man, I think that's outrageous that these people don't want to really look out, bro.
Yeah, but we rationalize it in this industry. Usually what happens is the assistants make the appointments, right? So the client doesn't actually have hands-on knowledge of if there's a tip or not. They just assume that there was one left. And usually there's not. That's just the way it crumbles.
I think if I was like rich and famous and you were driving me around, we'd probably be on like a first name basis, you know? John, what's up, man? We'd be kicking it. We'd be cool. You know what I mean?
And those people, they do. Like, I am on first name basis with, I would say, 20 people, and they're all great. Always cordial, always giving, which is amazing.
These rappers throwing that money around in these videos, man, I'm surprised. I figure people like, you know, Lil Meech and Gunna be looking out. I
saw Gunna pull out $150K and give 10 bands to his dad. His dad actually gave me $100, which was cool. So
he didn't tip you, but his pops did.
His pops did, yeah. Yeah.
His dad a bunch of money. Well, didn't they have a grocery store or something? They were putting a grocery store together.
I'm not familiar with that. I don't know. So let's see some of my experiences in prison, man. I never want to go back. I didn't belong there. I will be the first to admit that I'm not better than anybody else. That's a fact. But I'm not a killer either. And I'm not a rapist. And I felt very uneasy my years that I was in prison. I was scared. I'll be the first to admit. I was a scared person in prison, man.
In a maximum security prison, a low security prison?
Started out in a 2, got in a fight, got shot up to a 4 for like 6 months, then got shot back down to a 2, and then paroled from a 1.
Those Michigan State prisons dangerous?
I would say, yeah. I would say any prison's probably dangerous. Any jail's dangerous. What I found was if you want to be in that stuff, you can get in that stuff. When I was in prison 10 years ago, 14 years ago, politics weren't running the joint. I don't know about now because I haven't been in there so long. But politics, there was politics, but they didn't shove it in your face. I guess what I was, because of my background, being adopted, I'm Spanish, but I don't know much about the Spanish culture because I didn't grow up in the Spanish culture. The Spanish people treated me with respect. There was an old timer who'd been down for a long time who greeted me when I got there, gave me the rundown, but didn't expect me to click up. So I guess what I was a neutron. And I kind of gelled with that old timer. I got to sit at his table. I think he probably took me under his wing because he knew that I was naive, that I didn't understand prison. I thought it was just another stop because I'd had so many stops prior to that, a year here, a year there. I just didn't get it, how serious it was. Until my first bunkie told me what he was in for. And then when I was in a level 4, my bunkie told me what he was in for. That's when I really took on the belief that there really are monsters in this world, dude. I really believe that. And that's probably when I really started thinking hard, man. Do I want to, is this me? Is this what I'm here for the rest of my freaking life if I want? And I think that's when the wheels started changing, you know? I think that's when it happened. I saw some nasty things in prison. I saw a dude get stabbed. I saw a dude get clubbed over the head who unfortunately didn't make it. But unfortunately, he did something that earned him that, I guess.
You get in a fight for, you said?
There was a gentleman. I call him a gentleman because I call most men gentlemen, right? But this dude in my pod was a gang member and probably thought I was soft or whatever and was hiding lighters in my immediate area. And as you know, if you got something in your immediate area that you're not supposed to have and you get popped with it, then you're getting wrote up for it. You're getting a ticket for it. I was trying to go home, Chad. I wasn't trying to stall parole, but I also wasn't going to be punked, right? I wasn't going to have that, man. So I found it. I questioned the pod about it. Nobody did anything. Found out who it was, confronted him. He asked me if I wanted to do anything, and I took off.
Did you win or lose?
I lost.
Come on, man. You're supposed to tell the people that you won, bro.
I'm a big dude, but he's a bigger dude. I got him a couple times, man, but I lost.
Come on, man. Don't start freestyling on the people now. You said you lost.
I got him a couple times, but like I said, I lost, man. I lost that day.
It's all good. I'm just joking with you, man.
I know you are, brother, and I'm not ashamed of it. That's what happened. That's what happened, man.
You get any of them famous hockey players in your car, you better have them take you out back, teach you how to throw them things, man.
We talk about it every once in a while. It's like, you want to rip them gloves off real quick or what?
It's all good. So look, man, you're out here now. You're living your best life, man. Are you married? Do you got kids? I mean, what's going on in your life?
I have a girlfriend that I've had for the past 4 years who keeps me grounded. She keeps me where I need to be. She keeps me responsible. She makes sure I get up at 4 o'clock to go to work. She makes sure that I'm home by 8 o'clock to have dinner. There is no more nonsense in my life. I don't live the same life that I used to. Think about the same life every single day. Like I said, it's always in you. I think about it, but I don't act on it. I have an 18-year-old daughter who I found out about after I came home from prison. So when I came home from prison, she was 9 years old. I had no idea that I had a daughter in the world. Now we talk every single day. She's getting ready to go off to college. I couldn't be more proud. Some days are tough. Some days are great. It's a case that you just have to take time for it takes time for love and trust and that feeling of, hey, Dad, you're my dad, to grab a hold after something like I did and the way she was introduced into my life. But it's all good, man. I wouldn't trade any minute of my life for anything. I learned a lesson. I've adapted. I've overcome. I have a great life. I mean, not a great life. There's more to go. But I'm on the right track, man. I'm on the right track.
Let me ask you this. When you got out of prison, I mean, obviously you relocate to Atlanta. What makes you go to Atlanta?
So first I went to South Carolina. And the reason I went to South Carolina was because I had to get myself out of the environment that put me in prison in the first place. Friends, surroundings, bars, hustles. I had a name where I came from because of what I'd been doing for so many years. People didn't want to be around me. My friends had disowned me. And nobody talked good about me. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit there, or are you going to go somewhere else and really make an asserted effort to start over? I moved to South Carolina, to Hilton Head Island, to start over. And that's what I did, man. I moved there. I got a job bartending. This was after parole. I got released from parole early because I treated parole like house arrest. There were a couple slip-ups, smoked a joint or two while I was on parole and got scolded for it. Didn't have to do any time, but was warned. And I think I played with it once and then played with it the second time, and the message got across that, hey, even weed, man, don't be screwing around with it. So I didn't. When I was released from parole, the plan was to move to South Carolina the minute that I could to start the new John, right? I had to start over in order to be successful. I was on the island from January of 2014 through November of 2020. The pandemic, and I was driving cars in the low country as well. But the pandemic shut us down. When that happened, a client who I'd worked with over the past 4 or 5 years anyways, he's a wealthy man in Atlanta, and he called upon me to be a personal guy for him for about a year. Treated me great. We did that. And then we parted ways. And one day I was sitting in my office where I'm at right now, and I typed in limousine driver on Indeed.com. And the first company that popped up was the company that I worked for. They took me in. They said, hey, come on in. We'll talk. And we talked, and they hired me that very same day.
That's what's up, man. So now you're living a much better life than the life you lived in prison. Before we get ready to go, though, is there anything you want to say? Is there a message you want to give to the guys that are on the wrong path? Maybe some young kids, maybe some, aspiring rappers or some guys that are starting to come up before they make some of the mistakes that some other people have made. And I'm not specifically saying these dudes are guilty or anything like that, but give them a message, man.
So to the kids, the one thing that I didn't do that really led to me getting in trouble. And it's so simple. If you need help, ask for help. If you need help, ask for help. Because it's the simplest thing. And people know that you're the most sincere when you're asking for help in a genuine, honest, needing way. If you ask for that kind of help, people will help you. And I just didn't get that, man. I didn't understand that. I thought that I'd have to go get it myself. And I did. But ask for help. That's my message to the kids. You also don't want to be in prison, man. It's not a fun place. I kept to myself. I was pretty much a neutron, but I know that it's no place. If you have a chance not to be there, don't be there. To maybe some of those people that are slipping up that have that money that I've given rides to or whatever, if you get a second chance, yeah, do it the right way. There's levels to being rich. There's rich, and then there's really rich. And those rich and really rich people, they surround themselves with teams that make them better. They're always striving to be better. You just have to decide on what you want to be the best at. Me, I want to be the best limousine driver in Atlanta. That's my goal. If I can do that, then that will open up new doors for me. If I can do that, and I'll keep working for that. But you have to be the best at what you do in order to be successful. If you surround yourself, who said it? I can tell you who you are by the people you surround yourself with.
I used to say, show me your people, I'll tell you about your leader. Listen, man, you're living a good life, and I hope that people look at you, man, and say, hey, he's an example, man. He's an example of someone who made some irrationally responsible choices, some bad choices. You got out of prison, man. You said, I don't want that life no more. I want this life. And you strive to get it. It's not always easy, but at the end of the day, it feels a whole lot better to lay down in your own bed instead of those. So look, I'm going to close the show, man. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate that you changed your life. And I appreciate you sharing your stories and your experiences with us, man. And
much love to the good work, dude. You do a good job. You're going to make a lot of people change their lives.
Well, I hope so. But look, man, I appreciate you. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.